I turned everything on. Testing, testing. So, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning. It's good to be with you. Dean, thank you. I've truly appreciated the hospitality that I experienced here and the opportunity to interact with many of you. Enjoyed lunch yesterday. It was wonderful. I'm Christopher Washington. I serve as Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs at Franklin University. Just going to remind you of that. Part of my responsibility is to oversee the deans of my colleges. And so I have an important responsibility to assure that they are attending to quality matters in the respective colleges, and they report that information to me, and then I report that to stakeholders like our accrediting bodies and to our Board of Trustees and others who are interested in knowing about the quality of our institution. When we started our discussion yesterday, I mentioned that I thought the time that you're spending here to have the conversation about quality assurance and to determine whether you're pursuing accreditation is perhaps one of the most important conversations that you can have as academic leaders. It's not an easy thing to satisfy accreditation requirements. We talked about the cost of doing so. It takes a lot of time. But we also talked about the cost of not doing so. That if you don't pursue accreditation, it's hard to have your students and your faculty engage in the international education community. For me, it's great when I can work with an accredited institution. We make assumptions about assumed practices. We talked about assumed practices yesterday. Things that you can generally expect from higher education institutions around the world. Assumed practices are really critical. But we also talked about best practices, things that are unique and distinctive to your university that you choose to do, but that accrediting bodies hold you accountable for. If you say that you're going to teach a certain way, maybe leveraging technology in the classroom, when the accrediting bodies show up on your campus, they want to see that you're doing that. So we have assumed practices shared by higher education institutions. We have institutions who establish their own practices and support them. We talked about the importance of peer review and our participation in that process. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit more about academics. We're going to talk about program quality and how do you assure that the degree programs that you offer are appropriate to higher education. How do you assure that the degrees that you offer are appropriate to higher education and can be evaluated by peers as appropriate to higher education? Because fundamentally, that's what we're talking about here, is passing the peer review test, the examination, the process. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is we have to make sure that our programs are aligned with our mission. So the mission of our institution, the mission of our colleges. If I have a program in business, if I have a college of business in a university that provides professional programs of study, that all seems to fit. But if I had a program that taught fishing, maybe that doesn't fit in the college of business. Right? So there has to be an appropriateness to the nature of the programs and their fit within departments and colleges and university. I'm going to fast forward here a minute to talk about the quality model. If you recall this model, here we were saying that programs go through a quality process, a curriculum development. We have students who have an engaging learning experience. They produce products exams, exam scores, or assignments, or projects that they present that can be assessed by faculty to determine how well they're performing. This data, in addition to data on the teachers, the faculty who teach the classes, as well as the courses themselves, provide feedback to us to allow us to make improvements to what we do. But it's all predicated on a few ideas. The first one I want to talk about here and spend some time on it. And it's that you can't do this unless you have qualified faculty. Well, my first, I said I would share insights and perspectives with you, but that my primary purpose in doing so is to facilitate conversations among you, among us, about these subjects. So, the first subject I'd like to talk about today is qualified faculty. What constitutes a qualified faculty in your mind? But then I also want you to think about this from the perspective of accreditors who come and visit your institution. It's not that simple of an answer. So let's talk about that. What constitutes qualified faculty? I'm going to give you 10 minutes to discuss this, and then we'll match notes afterwards. What constitutes qualified faculty?
That's a good question. We're going to talk about that today. Hold that question. In parts. We're answering in parts. The first part of that answer has to do with qualified faculty. That's capable. There is an answer. There is an answer. At every level of education, the outcomes to express. The depth and the breadth 2 minutes.
Qualified faculty.
In general, specific
in some parts of the world, what we refer to are colleges, the entire entity of the group. Oftentimes, when I talk about faculty, I'm talking about faculty members, the individuals. And so what I'm asking you to think about is what constitutes qualified faculty member, the people who are on your faculty. So.
Okay, take about 1 minute to wrap up. The question is, how do we're talking about ensuring that we have qualified faculty and being able to demonstrate that to others. So take a minute to wrap up.
هنا
Okay, let's get started. I'm very curious to hear what you came up with in answer to this question, but let me put it in context again. Okay, we are spending today, the time today, discussing how we assure that what we offer in terms of degree programs are appropriate to higher education, right? That's a big question, and we're going to tackle it in parts. We're going to deal with this question in parts. One way that we can demonstrate that what we provide is at a level of higher education is by having a qualified faculty, right? So I'm curious to know what constitutes a qualified faculty. What are some of the ideas you came up with in answer to this question? For a qualified faculty. Qualified faculty. Qualified faculty.
We try to summarize some points for qualified faculty members. First, major and minor qualification in addition to the course they are responsible for teaching.
Okay, let me take that for a second. Major and minor qualifications
in addition to the course.
In the areas of courses that they're teaching or have responsibility for. Would you all agree with that? Is that something that would constitute qualified faculty, one of the factors? Anybody disagree? Give me another qualified faculty.
Starting from the personality of the faculty members, it should be keen one committed to teaching and his knowledge, qualification, experience, and research activity.
So experience and research activity would be sort of an example of evidence of the qualification of a faculty member, not just their credentials, but also their experience and activity, and research activity.
I think one of the most important is ability to transfer knowledge, talent to transfer knowledge.
The ability to teach or transfer knowledge to others, factor. Anything else?
I think must have good knowledge with the credit in our programs.
So they possess the knowledge that enables them to accredit the programs. You might put it in a different term. They have the knowledge and experience to assure oversight of a curriculum, right? To verify the curriculum and its importance for the subject. Okay, that's very good.
Should I go one or two?
Give me one. He'll give me the other.
I will be involving some professor in visiting the professor to other school to take good courses and more knowledge from high educated institutes and brought all of this knowledge to our institutes.
Training the course for graduation and learning outcome and international conference and training course for staff member in CAA, International Academic.
So I think we're talking a lot about qualifications of the individual, right? And whether they're resident here or visiting, they should have those qualifications. And I think your resident faculty should be able to confirm